Thank you all for coming for another FileMaker Academy presentation. This is this month's session. We're going to go over the FileMaker 15 showcase. I'm Kevin Hammond with DB Services. The goal of this presentation is to educate developers and users on the FileMaker platform and empower you to create custom apps. So let's first dive in here. Here's a list of all the companies that contribute to the FM Academy. These are all partner FileMaker Platinum level members. There's 8 today. We work together to bring education and standards to the community and monthly webinars for free. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, please do type it into the console. We'll get to them at the end. And if you're unable to put those in, you can always email us at fba@dbservices.com. So a little bit about me. I am founder and president at DB Services. I'm also certified in just about every version, 8 through 15. I've been working in FileMaker for over 17 years. My background is I have a bachelor's in business from the Kelley School of Business. Personally, I'm married with 3 children, all under the ages of 5. My youngest is 10 months old, so that means I have a pretty busy life when I'm not here doing things involving custom apps. Our company is a FileMaker Platinum partner. We're a member of the FM Academy, and we have customers all across the globe. And we're really focused on value. And I know that many of you out there are creating your own custom apps, and you realize that means making your organization more efficient and effective. And I have to say, we do a lot of content. We just released a new article on our website today. We do an article about every month, and you can follow us on Twitter, and you'll get those notifications. If you want to read more, you can go to our website in the About section and read a little bit more about myself. So let's just look and take a big step back at who is FileMaker. FileMaker is a subsidiary of Apple. They've been in business for over 30 years, which is tremendous in the tech community. Their focus is to enable business and teams to create their own custom apps. Custom apps on the platform run cross-platform, Windows, Mac, and the browser. And they have great success with iOS with over 2 million downloads on FileMaker Go for iPad, iPhone. There's been over 24 million copies of the software sold around the world. But to fully answer that question of who is FileMaker, they really believe in keeping things simple, not the complex, and empowering non-IT people to create amazing software for subject matter experts. And along those lines, allowing those with traditional programming backgrounds to also extend the application very powerfully. So some common business challenges that we see FileMaker solve out there today, there's really 3 categories. We see them all the time. Inefficient processes, they're everywhere. Scattered information as well, along with rigid technologies. The inefficient processes, we see those very commonly, taking data from one application to another, or paper to Excel, or Excel to your ERP, to your accounting system. It's just very, very common to see those processes in place, workflows that need to be automated, that data being in every place but where you need it. And then commonly you find yourself using technology that can't really conform and work the way your organization needs it to. So here's a little, I love these charts. It talks about, you can see in the axis here, high customization or high ease of deployment. So from a deployment standpoint and development, it's super easy to get something on an app store, right? It doesn't take much time. Though you find your limitations. And then on the other side, then traditional programming is very customizable, but it's not very easy to deploy. And then last but not least, you see FileMaker fits very nicely as to very easy to develop, and it also has a high degree of customization. So let's now focus a little bit on 15, really what we're going to get into, and I think it's important for everybody to understand that FileMaker 15 is really about these 5 different categories. It's about mobility. There's a lot of investment going on in the product when it comes to mobility. You'll see that, and I think that is going to continue with Go and WebDirect. You're going to constantly see those technologies being proven to go further, faster. Automation, who can get enough of that? Ease of use, security, and performance. So mobility, and I'm going to cruise through these. What we're going to do is we're going to get into a sample application, and I'm going to show a lot of these features, and then I'll take a step back and just show some of these features on a case-by-case basis. So I'm going to cruise through this, but I want you to know that we will be talking about these. FileMaker Go's got Touch ID for instant logins. App extensions are really powerful, a way to integrate with other apps on your iOS devices. iBeacon support, tremendous capabilities there to how you're going to be able to use that. 3D Touch, and then a WebDirect mobile phone support. Automation integration, you have a couple different things that all developers are going to love. Highlighted script errors, undo scripting on the undo in the script stack, in product updates. One should probably be happening in the not too distant future, since we're on 15 V1 right now. V2, you'll see that in action. And ESS adapters going from 3 traditional iron data sources that are supported to now including DB2 and Postgres, in addition to the existing MySQL, SQL Server, and Oracle, which is a welcome addition to enterprises. And then ease of use, you got additional simple, they're called basic starter solutions, web-based help. You can still download that. And then in addition to that, you have an updated user interface, which I think everybody's going to like those additions. Security, proactive, there's just a ton of security in this version. Those out there who are using 15, I'm sure you're very aware of that already. There is a tremendous amount of security in place. If you don't have an SSL certificate, you're going to know about it all the time. And if you're using the default one, concealed edit box, so that you can easily type in secure information without, or private information without having onlookers look at it. We'll talk more about how that works. SSL certificates, not only are they enhanced, but what that really means is that it supports more additional types as well. And then performance, we all can't get enough of great performance. You have Porter inline progress bars and top call statistics logging. Just installing 15 will get you that feature for that Portal inline progress bar. And that server side is where you can really troubleshoot tasks that are taking a long time. So let's dive into a demo here. I'm going to show, let me get out of this, an example application where this is called Tailor Fit, and you'll see right here off the bat it's asking for Touch ID, so I don't have to log in. And what this is, let me give you a little background in this application. This is a high-end gym, and they have struggled with the sign-in process. Many of us who are building custom applications, at least I know, I like to go from the front end of the workflow if at all possible. So when people come in that are interested in the gym, they need to sign in. They need to sign up. And so when they sign up, they fill out these forms. Many times the carbon copies, they don't end up in the places they need them. And so they were able to streamline that process with iPad Pros, and we're going to demo exactly how that works. So let me first go in here and type in my username and password. So I'm using an iPad Pro for this, and I'm going to go ahead and hit create account. And here's the sign up form. So before I fill it out, I want you to see how simple that is and looks. It's going to autofill for me because nobody wants to watch me type all that. That was very easy. And then it has built-in signature. So I'm going to go ahead and sign my name here. and you can see it has information above the signature for the member to read. Once that's been signed, I hit continue, and now that it knows my name, I can go ahead and tap and initial the agreement form. I'm going to hit continue. Now, this is where they can take a picture of the actual participant or the person that's signing up in this case. And I'm going to go ahead and take a picture here of, I have a picture of a basketball player who's coming into the gym. You may recognize him. I'll go ahead and take his picture so we have it on file as to when he signed up. So at this point, I'm going to show a little bit of how app extensions can work. So I've taken a picture of this member, and I'm going to basically ask them a few questions about their health history. Have they had any surgeries? So I'm going to use app extensions, and I'm going to mark this up using another application. I'm going to mark it up in Sketch. So it's coming in over here. And at this point, this person, we'll call him Paul, said that he had some problems with an ankle. So I'm going to note over here, ankle. And then also he mentioned that his back, he's had some problems over there. So I'm just going to note that as well, and his elbow. And so at this point, I'm going to save this. I'm going to bring it back using app extensions into FileMaker. And I'm going to hit the update button. And now I've got that inside of our app. I see there's a few questions there. I'll get to those near the end. When this person's signing up, they now need to figure out which time and what trainers they're going to sign up with. So he's an early morning person. He works in the evenings, so he needs to work out early. So we're just going to pick the first two here. So Jose and Jack were two that he's interested in working with. They've worked with a few other basketball players, and he wants to work with somebody with some basketball experience. So I'm going to go ahead and hit continue. And then their schedules come up for those two individuals. He said, I'm fine with Thursday with Jose at 6:30 to 8. So we've selected that. And you'll notice at that point, I'm going to go ahead and move and go into split screen mode here. But it popped open when I made that selection, the email of Paul, in this case, with that schedule attached. So you can send that to them, and they can easily then add that to their calendar. So I'm going to come back. You'll see that that email just came in. And I'm going to go ahead and add that. And you can then see that event on their calendar. So, whoops. In this case, you'll see this great integration between the devices when it comes to iPad Pro, FileMaker Go, FileMaker Pro Advanced, or Pro, which is developing this, and really integrating this very well with their process. So that's the sign-up process. I'm going to go ahead and hit home and go back here. Now, they started to use this, and of course, like many of you out there, you realize, wow, there's more I can do with FileMaker. That's for the front of the house, but our staff's really not using that so much. Well, what about our trainers? And how can we get our trainers to start to use it? So we went ahead and built the ability for their trainers to come in and work with the app during the workouts with their customers. So I'm going to go to the workout screen here. And what you'll notice here is that I'm going to first say which station. And at this point, it's using beacon technology to determine which station I'm the closest to. And I'm next to this station, and I'm working with Paul. And in this case, you can see the history of Paul below in the chart, the progress, and you can also see the history on this machine. Now, in addition to that, I could do some pretty cool things like take a video of that person. I could also take a photo, or in this case, say one of the straps. were broken on the machine. Ripped strap on machine, and I could submit that, and then our staff could manage those submissions, and of course promptly take care of any repairs that may be needed. Now, to go an extra step, you know how it is when you're at the gym. There's too many people there. It always seems like when it's busy, you're there, and sometimes it can be difficult to get your routine in with the stations that you're looking for. So what they've implemented is using iBeacons that you can see traffic and people checked in to each of these stations. And they've built in a queue. And in that queue, you can actually select the station you're looking to work off. In this case, I'm going to put station 11, and my request has been registered. And now I'm in the queue, and they know that nobody's supposed to be on a station for more than 15 minutes. So this is an example of using iBeacon technology as well, along with many of the other great multimedia features with FileMaker for their actual trainers at their gym. So just to take a step back and talk a little bit about the situation that we're at here. We first built the registration forms so you can register. We then built for the office or for the trainers the ability to actually use and log workouts in the stations. And then now the office wanted to have something built for them. So in the office, they wanted to see some metrics, right? Managers and always, the saying is, and you need to measure. So in the office, they wanted to see a dashboard built. So this is for the back office at Taylor Fit. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the dashboard. Now, this is all using native FileMaker technology for charting. And you can see that each area of the dashboard is broken up in the columns for members. So you can see some metrics on the members, for trainers, and then for the equipment. And so I'm just briefly going to show one way to drill down within this dashboard, because there's just a lot of information here. But you'll see, let's look at the enrollment funnel, and then below it, you'll see details. Now you can actually select that, and it will pop open more information within that chart, some more drill down information based on some time frames of today, last 7 days, 30 days. And so this is a real creative way and an elegant way to wrap up a lot of information on one screen for the back of the office to really understand their business. I personally know I enjoy seeing rolling 30 reports. It gives me a good idea whether things are increasing or decreasing or maintaining, and showing the last 30 days is a great way to present information. And this is a very visual way which people enjoy. So looking at how Taylor Fit is using FileMaker, they've deployed it to get rid of paper on registration. They've deployed it for their trainers to use for their sessions and basically scheduling time for equipment. And then they've also been able to roll that up for the back office and see that some of these metrics on the dashboard. All right. Now, one additional thing took place after all of this. They said, boy, it'd be really nice if we could have a way for our trainers to see their schedule in a browser. And, you know, we have a lot of people here that use iPhones and Androids. And so it needs to work on both devices. So, and they wanted to be able to use WebDirect to actually do that. So I'm going to show you here and the example of what they built internally. They actually went ahead and wanted to build this themselves, being that FileMaker is an easy to use tool. So I'm going to log in on FileMaker here, and you can see on my screen here, this is there's two different things I'm going to show you here. So we're going to build the app, and then we're going to look at it on the phone together. So let me pull up the phone so that we can look at it. And then here is Tailor Fit. We'll actually build that together. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. I'm going to log into it. 1 second. So we're going to log into it on WebDirect. See, there's a security warning. So you can see it on the browser, on the phone, on the right, and you can actually see the layout here on the left. So we'll first put together, let me get the inspector window, let's get the field picker. One of the first things I'm going to do here is we're going to put their logo on the layout. So, and then I'm going to also build some resizing. I'm going to save that. You can see it show up on the phone on the right. And then let's look at the field picker. So in this case, we wanted to have the trainer name, right? We want, whoops, get the label out of there. And then we're going to have the time and the date. So the time, and we're going to need to format that. And actually, I think this is on date. I said that incorrect. That should be the member. And this is the date. So we'll get some room here. And let's format the time field. So it's hour minute. And the member and the workout date is as entered. So we'll go ahead, let me save this. We got to do a little formatting. And you can start to see it show up on the phone right there on WebDirect. Whoops. We'll make that. And so there's the layout that they built internally. And you can see here on the phone that I can actually resize this and it will work just fine. And you see the status toolbar up here changes. This entire layout has been built and is compatible on WebDirect browsers, meaning Androids or iPhones or any compatible browser. So wonderful way to take that data, extend it, make it accessible for their actual trainers outside the office at any time. All right, good stuff. Let me go back into the iPad Pro, and I will close Tailor Fit. And we're going to just do a real quick demo of a bunch of the new features here in 15. So this is called a grab bag. Some of you may have seen it in the past used for new features, grab bag 14, grab bag 13. This is really highlighting 15. So what I'm going to do is we'll go through each one of these features. We'll start off with app extensions. You saw app extensions a little bit with the markup from Paul's picture. And let's talk about the 4 different ways that you can use app extensions with your FileMaker Go 15, because this is really powerful stuff. Your creativity is up to you on how you could possibly use it. So the first one here, so importing file into FileMaker Go's sandbox. So you'll notice up here in the upper left of this picture, there's a little folder with an arrow pointing down. And that's how you can bring the locations up that you can import from. In this scenario, you see iCloud Drive or PDF Expert. It's whatever app extensions you have on your device that support this ability of using app extensions. Now, the other way is that you can export that file from FileMaker Go's sandbox. And in this case, you'll see that the sample here is assets has been selected, and then you can push that out. And in this scenario, I think this is the one most people think of, is you want to maybe push it out to a Dropbox or using a local file. I know most of the time we're either deploying sync or we're using FileMaker Server directly instead of pushing files back and forth. But there's a lot of people out there that just use their file for themselves. And pushing it to a Dropbox or a box or any other place where it can be obtained on the desktop easily is an option, and this is one of them. Well, that's just one example. There's certainly many others. Third is you can import into containers. Now, what you'll notice here is that a lot of these import options have been there, but the bottom one, locations, that's new. That's something that you'll have to explore and see what's on your device and what you're looking to do. And then fourth is outputting that solution content. You saw that earlier. I'll continue to do that again in a demo here shortly. And so you're wanting to push that out. So let's give an example. So this is a sample contract of in FileMaker. This is a PDF that was created actually in a FileMaker application from a different presentation. And this PDF, we now want to mark it up, right? Maybe somebody sends you something, you want to store it, you want to mark it up. In this scenario down below, you'll see I'm going to hit the share, and then I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to select that destination on the bottom. I'm hitting open in, okay? And then in this case, I'm going to take this to PDF Expert. And I actually wanted to do split screen, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and mark it up here. So in this situation, I'm just going to say not applicable, and then I'm going to just hit a checkbox. I could do all kinds of things, right? Multiple pages. I can use all different kinds of drawings and shapes. In this case, you'll get the point. I've just made a quick markup on it. I'm going to go up here in the top right. I'm going to now say open in, and I'm going to flatten this one. I've hit document before, it didn't work so well. Flatten worked fine. And then I'm going to say copy to FileMaker Go. It's going to come back over here. And now I need to hit the refresh button, and voila, it's now here in our FileMaker application. This is called share sheets, where it's coming in and out of the application. All right, iBeacons. So iBeacons are a real powerful technology that really use low power Bluetooth energy. The ranges are anywhere from, I think it's 70 meters to long range. I think I read that can go up to 400 meters. But ultimately, it's being used more and more today. You'll see them out there. I know they're becoming very prevalent, and they've been well known to be in retail. They're also, I've heard stories of being, I've not seen it myself, but being in museums for when you go up to a piece on an app, it can know that and tell you all kinds of immersive 3D multimedia content about some piece of history. But ultimately, we are using, for this demo, if you were here in person, I'd show you, but we're using Estimote beacons, and we have a 3-pair here. I believe FileMaker used these when they did testing, but these are Estimote. And so there is great information. If you see down in the bottom, you see where it says Getting Started with iBeacon Overview. This is on Apple's developer website. There is a ton of information about iBeacons, and it's really enough for its own presentation. But I highly encourage anyone to go out there, read that. And also, if you want to learn more, search, look at the beacon vendors and see use cases and case studies. Really understand how that's being used today, because there's a lot of different creative capabilities. So in this situation, it's a new function, right? Range beacons, and it has a lot of, the required parameter is the UUID, and then it has many different optional parameters. And you'll see in this on this screen, UUID, major, minor, proximity, accuracy, and it also brings back the RSSI. Now, I have 3 beacons next to me, and they're in this. So let's just, for example, see how they work. So I'm going to hit the very bottom one here, just the UUID. This is just the general one. It's looking for the UUID that I've provided, and then it sees the 3 that I've brought that are near me with the same UUID, and it's brought back their information. And you can do things like how far away is it? Is it near? Is it close? It's not far, right? But really immerse yourself into iBeacons and their capabilities, and see if there's any use case that may apply to your organization. All right, let's go into mobile phone. Okay, so FileMaker WebDirect really has evolved. FileMaker 13 is where WebDirect basically was first released. So we have 13, 14, 15. This is the 3rd version of WebDirect, and I'm a person who likes to believe the 3rd version is really when it starts to fit everybody's potential use cases. So I'm going to pull up my phone here and show you exactly some improvements in FileMaker 15 so that you can see them hands-on. So I'm going to do the grab bag demo, and I want you to see exactly the improvements. So what's happened is in 14 and in 13, WebDirect worked on mobile devices. I know 14 was when they blessed tablets. 15 is where they blessed mobile devices. Even though it worked, sometimes you had to be really creative to make it a great user experience. And when you had to get into some native FileMaker dialogues, the user experience wasn't so great. So, I'm going to show you the areas that have been improved here. Come on, swipe. I'll just select down here. Okay, so this is an example of this is on an iPhone. This is actually an iPhone 6s, but more importantly, it's Safari. That's the browser. And in this example, you'll notice that those of you who have tried to deploy or have deployed WebDirect in the actual browser, selecting a calendar wasn't really that elegant. In this case, it works very, very well. It pops up. That's a very easy dialog to select and work through. Same thing with drop downs and the radio buttons, and then just an oodle of dialogues have been improved. So if you look at the relogin, that's easy to use. It was not like that before. The sort dialog, no different. You can actually select and easily view the information. Insert photo, easy to use dialog. Omit, custom dialog. That's probably one that you really wanted to work well and didn't look so good. Now it will be very clean and easy to use on Android and on iPhones running compatible browsers. And then the toolbar. So you can see I've toggled that toolbar on or off, and that's really something that's been changed. That toolbar above is responsive. So as I go to a landscape mode, you'll notice that the toolbar has expanded and giving me more options to select from. But very elegantly is it doing that. So this is great news for those who wanted to embrace WebDirect on mobile devices that are using phones. really works well and should allow you to embrace deploying in those situations where you have bring your own devices and you may have a scattered group of Androids or scattered group of iPhones. It works really, really well. Okay, let's go back to Touch ID support. Logging in, albeit secure, sometimes is not exactly that fun to do on mobile devices all the time, especially since we're hitting the home button quite a bit, and then we navigate back to our application, and boom, we're prompted with another dialog. And if you got a complex password, boom, there's another 30, 45 seconds out of your day, and you're constantly logging in and out. So having Touch ID support is tremendous and a great feature that you can add. So let's look exactly at how to enable Touch ID. I'm going to pull up as well here FileMaker Pro so you can see how this works. Grab bag. Well, okay. So let's first open the file options. This is where Touch ID can be enabled or disabled. So this file, I had already turned it off. It's just using the default password. In order to use Touch ID, you cannot have automatically login prompted. That doesn't work. So we turned off the automatic login. And then down below, we have to turn on allow keychain access and the save password. Okay, so at this point, I can now enable this grab bag will now allow us to work with Touch ID. So now, let me first close out of the app, and I'm now being prompted for the username and password. So in this case, it's the default one, which nobody should be using, right? If you are, make sure you're not, if it's accessible. And then I need to select Save and Keychain, okay? And then I hit Login. So I'm going to close it out. So at this point, that is in my Touch ID. So I'll just have to put my finger on it, and voila, Touch ID has been enabled. Now, if you would like to remove that from your keychain, you just go into FileMaker Go, you hit Manage Keychain, it asks me again, and then I'll just delete it from the keychain. So very easy thing for you to do to enable on your mobile devices, Touch ID support. As long as you have login turned off, then it should be something that everybody considers to do, whether or not it's appropriate. Okay, so let's go into the script workspace. So highlighted script errors. Well, if you're like us, I know we build a lot. We spend a lot of time. We build a lot of applications here. And so we try to write things modular where we can reuse it into the next application where it's appropriate. And so you're doing a lot of importing. And in some cases, when you're doing that importing, or when you're just working on an existing application, you're doing importing from one application to another in your organization, you find you have errors. And those errors may not be so visible to you. And what this does is it really allows you to highlight and see those. So when you import them, it will automatically turn them red. Okay, so just realize that should be very visible for you to clean up when that happens. In the past, that's not the case. You can also turn off, if you'll notice here, there is the ability to turn on and off, but anytime you import, it'll automatically show up. And then the undo script stack, I'm not going to show the example here, but basically you can change a script, you can make another change to the script, you can make another change to the script, and then you can undo, undo, undo. So it's multiple undos in the stack, which is what we all want. So the script workspace was first deployed in 14, and these are very nice additions in 15 for all developers who are scripting to really enjoy. All right, so let me show you here an example, right? This has been deleted, so that's an example of an error. Let's move to Concealed edit box. Okay, I have a little keyboard here, so a couple different things about concealed edit box. One, you got to understand, this data is not encrypted. It is still going into your field. It can still be exported from your database. It can still be viewed. What it is preventing is when people are walking by you and you're logging in, for example, or putting in some sensitive information, they're not going to be able to see it. Okay, so just first realize that. Let's put an example here. I'm gonna put in here. This is my first script today. Okay, and so what you'll notice is it's concealed on the right. So the control style is now available in the inspector for concealed edit box, and that's what provides you that password mask equivalency. What we had done in the past as developers, right, is we're always doing tricks and we're doing layered fields, and WebDirect doesn't like layered objects, and it's just not a fun time. In this case, now, voila, it's going to work across all these different devices. So it's a fantastic feature to be added. You can also, you'll notice here the checkbox, you can have placeholder text in here. So when it's empty, let me do a, let me get rid of it. You see how there's placeholder text there. Another thing to note is I can have multiple lines of text, okay? And on the concealed side, it will always be one line, okay? Always one line. And when concealed, it will always show 8 characters, okay? Even though I click in there, right? Anytime I'm looking at it, it's always 8 characters, and it's always going to be one line. Cut and copy are disabled, so I can't go in there and cut and copy, but I could from a script. And paste, of course, works as usual. I think if you didn't notice, I was pasting. I pasted right into it. So if you're not using it, whenever you need to use it, you'll enjoy having concealed edit box. It's a very nice feature. Okay, portal inline progress bars, another wonderful feature of the new platform, FileMaker 15. So it basically, when things load, non-trivial portals is what it states here. And what that really means is a lot of data that you're viewing for a portal. Then you'll see this portal inline progress bar that and I'll give you a few different examples. So it will now allow you to interact with the application. In the past, you had to wait for all that data to load. And if anybody works with applications, FileMaker applications over the WAN, we all know that there's quite a bit of lag depending on the environment, and any performance improvements that we can get in the FileMaker application natively is welcomed. And this is an example of where you may hit a screen, there's a lot of data loading, and you're just frozen, right? We're waiting. We're going, when is this going to load? Because I'm forgetting what I was even trying to do. 5 seconds kind of is that magic number where you start to forget and you're getting out of flow. So when you have a lot of data in a portal, and I'm not saying, and we all know we shouldn't do that, but when that does happen, it doesn't punish you nearly as it did in the past. You could still navigate away from that screen. So let's look at a couple different examples here. This is an example of data on the right. This is actually 600,000 lines, and on the left, it loaded immediately. Now, I was kind of surprised by that, that 600,000 loaded immediately, but it did, because this is on a server here, so this is not local. On the right, it's sorting, and it's actually showing us the progress. And once it's done, there you have it. Now I can hit refresh there and it start, and I can actually navigate away, right? So that I just navigated to the next example. So while that's loading, I can actually still do things. I am typing here while it's loading on the right. So you can still do data entry, which is welcomed, right? Nobody wants to be frozen from what they're doing. and there you see the child count, 600,000. Same thing here. I'm going to trigger a go to third row script event. I'm going to hit this button right there on the left, and it's going to wait until it's done, and then it goes over to it. And then all different sizes, right? So as the portal column changes width, so does the size of the actual portal inline progress bar. So, and then the last example, on the left we have unsorted filtered. So the first thing it's doing is filtering, right? So you'll notice that the icon and the motion is unique for filtering and sorting. So this is the filtering icon. Filtering is taking place on the first. So on the left you'll see that filter, and on the right it will then sort thereafter. So a lot of data here. We all know that filtering takes some time. So we'll just wait here while it progresses, and I'll get ready to start answering some of these questions. All right, so now that's unsorted but filtered, and on the right it is filtered and it's now sorting. So just a little tidbit fact of the progress bars look different. All right. Well, I think we did pretty good on time here. So what I'm going to do is answer some of the questions here right after I finish a few more slides. I know everybody out there has heard about the new licensing with FileMaker. It's simpler. I know there's a lot of different conversations that's gone on there. We're an authorized reseller here at DB Services, and so I feel that I'm much more knowledgeable than most on licensing. So FileMaker Licensing for Teams is the new licensing model. And what does that really mean? So first thing to understand with the 15 platform is that all the existing licensing is still intact. It's still in place. Nothing's changed there, okay? So I know with change, people might feel that something is being taken away. And in this case, I don't look at that. I look at something wonderful is being introduced. What it really is user-based licensing. So over time, FileMaker's had a 30-year track run, which is tremendous in the technology world. And it's really had to evolve and create new products to market and try to figure out a way to license it. And I think this is the licensing of the future forever, in addition to what's already there. But this is simple, very easy for people to understand. So for users of 5 or more, we call it FLT. And it really is based on the idea that many of us today use multiple devices. We can be on our phone, we can be on our iPad, we can be on our laptop, we can be on our desktop, but that's one license, right? The intent is that to simplify the licensing, you put the licensing on the server level, and then it's very easy for the organization to understand. And you can load these things on whatever devices you want. So FLT is really an easy approach for licensing moving forward. And I think if you're not embracing it, definitely look at that. If you transition your existing licenses, if you guys have annual licensing or have any questions, please let me know, or volume licensing, we'd be happy to help you. In addition, if you are not going, time is coming for developer conference. The time is up to register and attend. This is next week in Las Vegas. I know we're having a lot of our staff there. It'd be great to meet you and see you if you're going to attend. This is at the Cosmopolitan from Monday through Thursday of next week, where really thought leaders gather and share and learn from each other and really continue to build the great community that we have in FileMaker and continue it. So I hope that I see you there. And if you're considering it, please do come out. I know there's a one-day, it's actually on Monday if you want, you could just do a day of training on Monday and not have the entire conference, but do them both and get as much knowledge and meet a lot of great people. We always post this on the YouTube channel, so if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, please do subscribe to us. We'll post this within the next week. I know I've had a couple people post that they have to leave. We'll make sure that to take a look and subscribe. We'll get this content up there soon thereafter. And now time for questions. Let me take a few. We have roughly 10 minutes here, and I'll try to answer a few of these as we go. Let's see here. Is there any limit on the number of users who can sign in to a FileMaker application using Touch ID? Not that I'm aware of. I do not think that there is a limit to your application. There is a limit, and you'll have to double check this, but if you have a shared device versus everybody having their own device, I believe there's a limit to 10 fingerprints. So if it's your own device, no problem. If you're trying to share something at a kiosk and use Touch ID, that could be a little bit more challenging based on what's available from iOS. Let's see here. Right. Yes, somebody's mentioned, is this, you may have seen this content in the past. Some of these demos have been done at Apple stores across basically globally. So this is the FileMaker 15 showcase that you may have been invited and seen. Tailor fit is impressive. How many hours do you have in developing and deployment? Now this was provided by FileMaker. I believe this was built and collaborated with FileMaker, so I can't answer that question. I do know that you see 3 different phases, and there was some time put into that, but I do not know the answer to that. Definitely lots of Touch ID. QuickTime. Touch ID and WebDirect. I do not know the answer to that question. I don't know if Safari supports Touch ID. I would guess that it doesn't, but I don't know. That's a great question. How does licensing work if you're using peer-to-peer instead of using the server? Peer-to-peer is stated by FileMaker to be more for a testing environment. I know there's people in production that use that. I typically do not recommend people to use peer-to-peer for a variety of reasons. The limitation, to my understanding, is 5 devices on peer-to-peer. So I also know that we had a crazy scenario with a customer who had over 125 files, and they wanted to do peer-to-peer. And if you have a site license, that limitation is not in place. But using server is really ideal. Of course, you don't get peer-to-peer. You're not going to get WebDirect. You're not going to get any kind of schedules to run. You're not going to get securing your data, your backups. There's a lot of limitations, but it's basically 5 users peer-to-peer, and I highly recommend if you're using peer-to-peer to move over to server. One of the things I did not highlight here was Server 15 has some performance enhancements, and one of them is related to over the WAN. So if you're using FileMaker over the WAN and you would like to have the most speed possible, definitely upgrade to Server 15. It has more intelligence and reduces the number of network packets and trips for opening an application. I have many users who don't use FileMaker but access my apps via WebDirect. Do they each need their own license? The way the current the current licensing model is really intended for known users. So if you have known users, yes, they all need their own licenses. If you have anonymous users, then there is concurrency licensing available, and it's basically 3 times the price. So, if you go to FileMaker's website, you're going to see FLT. but realize there are other options, and those can certainly be discussed to you. See you guys at DEF CON. Thank you. There are a few options, but which iPhone to desktop viewer do you use and recommend? Since I do a lot of presentations, I'm actually using QuickTime with a cable. We have used Reflector with AirPlay and all of the different kinds of other technologies, and there's something to be said that a cable is the most reliable. So in this presentation, I used QuickTime, which I was then viewing on screen here for you and just plugging it in and out from my phone and from my iPad Pro. So very, very reliable, and that's how we choose to do it, because it's no fun having things crash on you. Well, thanks you, everyone. I'll go through some of these additional questions and may post them on the website on FileMakerAcademy.com. Thank you for all attending. Have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you in DEF CON. Bye-bye.